Good morning, Raptor Freak Alexiats here on a Sunday morning. The morning after, the Raptors went to Indiana and won the second game of a back-to-back in Indiana. Very close, only won by 3 points. It could have gone either way, guys, honestly. But thankfully, the good guys won, and they really showed some poise and leadership and growth last night, because this game last night, when you look at the team stats between Indiana and Toronto, they're very even. Very, very even. They shot even. It's about the same turnovers, pretty close on the rebounding battle, pretty close on the fast break points. All this team stats were very even last night. Like no real areas where it's like we really beat them or they really beat us or anything. So it really came down to, in the fourth quarter, our veteran guys like Fred and OG showing up and hitting big shots and giving us that little bit of a cushion in the last couple minutes of the game where we got up by like 8 all of a sudden, and Indiana was trying to come back, but we held them off and we won. And that shows a lot of growth already for a young team, because we've only got 7 games now with the team. And, these kind of games with rookies and new players and stuff that are close, usually the team that, the less experienced team loses these games. And Indiana has some good veterans. Brogdon's probably their most important guy for that kind of stuff to close out games. And he wasn't there last night, but Indiana had Karis LeVert back, and, Sabonis and Turner played better in some ways last night. Sabonis hitting that late 3 was really scary. But, they showed real good poise. They shut down on the defense. They got important defensive rebounds in the last couple minutes of the game. And, they won. So that's it. Just get the W. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's going to be ugly sometimes. I mean, that was a low-scoring game last night. That was some Eastern Conference, grinded out, tough scoring basketball. And the Raptors played it very well yesterday. And there were a couple of things I really liked about the game last night. One of them was Scotty Barnes was pretty much our go-to guy last night and our most important offensive player. And I didn't think that this would happen so soon. I thought, OG, Fred, Pascal, these guys are still going to be the number one primary scorer. But last night, Scotty showed that he could be that guy even more so. And the things he was doing again last night, it's like every single game we see Scotty show another little dimension of what he's capable of. And last night, one of the things he did last night was very Kawhi. He was doing these little laners, and then shooting to the side around guys. And then also that one play he did on Sabonis when he backed him down, it was basically like almost a break, because he dribbled up to him, turned around, backed him down just a little bit, and then turned and just shot over him. That's a Kawhi Leonard move right there. And the fact that a good defender and good NBA player like Domantas Sabonis couldn't stop it really says something. Like, Scotty is nasty. Scotty is somebody that people are not going to be able to guard. They're not going to want to have to guard him, because he's going to make them look bad, because he can do it all offensively from what I've seen so far. He's got the outside, he's got the mid-range, he's got the post, he's got the drive, he's got the open court, he's got it all. And this is just going to be more and more fun. Like in the press conference after the game last night, Nick Nurse was talking about how he has no idea what he's going to see from Scotty next, Oh, I had to turn this on. Top live chat. Okay, good morning, MK47. Good win last night. We closed it out. Scotty was dominant. Yep. Good morning, G. G, I hope you saw what I said yesterday, because you said I was going to the game, and then I ended up going to the game on Friday night. I don't know how you knew that. You're like a psychic or something. NBA Instagram still hiding Scotty on the last slide, though. Hey, listen, let's just say that they laid the best for last. That's what it is right there, G. But yeah, last night, really good poise, really good closing out, and just smart about it. And boy, was Svi. Svi was a lot of fun to watch last night. That little behind the back dribble and then go around with the dunk, the left-handed dunk, very impressive. And of course, he's doing all the other things that he does normally, like getting in the passing lane on inbounds, just playing really good team defense, and also getting open for 3-pointers and hitting them. He hit a couple threes last night. So, he's a really good rotation player. Like, I didn't realize how much he could do for us. And this is the thing. You can look at him and then look at what Goran was doing for us so far this year, and you can see the difference in multi-dimensional players. Like, Goran doesn't have even half the things that Svi has at this point. Like, as far as the rebounding and going to the basket like that was really incredible. Like, I that came from nowhere. Honestly, he's been really impressing me, Svi Mihalik. Yeah, in the drill at the beginning of the year, he won that 96 to 100 for 3. Yeah, so if he's open and he's getting the ball in rhythm, he's going to hit threes like consistently. So he's a deadly weapon for us to have, and somebody on the down low that's really, really good part of our rotation. Like, our bench is really starting to come together a bit. We saw last night that Precious didn't play as much once again, and Kem ate up a little bit more of his minutes. And that's the thing I keep saying, with Kem's such a stabilizing presence with defensive rebounds and team defense down low, he really helps us. And against a team like Indiana, maybe that's why we needed Kem Birch just a little bit more. So, Svi has hops. It's interesting. Like, Dragic, we didn't see him again last night. I really thought we'd see Goran Dragic just because it was a back-to-back and the other guys, get him some time. But no, but we did see Malachi for 3 minutes. And actually, Nick Nurse wanted to put Malachi in sooner. He was going to put him in halfway through the second half. But what happened was Mihalik went crazy and started going really well. So we held off on taking him out and putting Malachi in. But Malachi was going to get like half of the second quarter. But Svi went off. So he took the minutes before he could take him out. He said he wanted to let him ride and see how he would do. And then Malachi only got 3 minutes, and he didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot. But he's going to keep getting chances, and I think it's interesting that they put him in over Goran, like at the end of the half. This is the thing. Goran Dragic is a professional. He said it in his opening press conference when he first got here. He said, "I've come here to be a professional." And a professional means you got to sit your ass on the bench when coach tells you to. And that's part of it. He's not going to be a problem. He'll sit over there. The press is going to keep going like, why isn't Goran playing? Why isn't Goran playing? Press just needs to realize that he's not a part of this rotation right now just because he doesn't help it enough. Like, his per is not high enough compared to everybody else's. You look at everybody else's per rating, which is like efficiency rating on all kinds of stats per time on the court. His per is awful. Because you got guys that are doing so many different things on the court all the time. Dragic, if he's not hitting his shot, then what else is he doing? Is he getting steals like Gary Trent? No. Is he getting lay-ins like Scotty Barnes and Svi Mihalik? No. So why would you play him? So the press needs to just let it go. Stop asking about Goran. Just let him be on the bench. Don't bother him. Don't talk about him. Just let him have dignity and be a bench rider for this year, because he's going to be helpful on the bench still to the team in all kinds of ways, just as like a sensei Padawan, like for the Padawans, just like an older Jedi for the younger coming up guys. So he can help with information, being a role model, teaching guys, and he doesn't necessarily have to play. That's just how it is. There's guys in the league that do this in the later parts of their career where they don't actually play and they just mentor. So there's nothing wrong with it. And we shouldn't make him feel bad about it either, because honestly, he's in the NBA and he's making $19 million this year. So he ain't hurting and he ain't sad. I'll bet you he's not sad. I mean, he is kind of sad just because he'd like to contribute, but he's going to get his chance. He's going to get his chance. There's going to be some point this season where Goran's going to win something for us. Like, he's going to come in and do something big for us at some point if we don't trade him before then. John Wall, what's going on with John Wall? I don't know anything about John Wall right now, but I do know that the Bulls beat Utah last night for their first loss, and that's a huge win for DeMar and the Bulls. They've been rolling so far, and there's other things going on around the league, like the Lakers are having their ups and downs, and Brooklyn as well. Kenny, good morning. This win was brought to you by the letter S. I love that. This is like Sesame Street for Scotty and Spee. Yeah, I can agree with that. That's those two guys were really key for this because it did. OG didn't have it last night. OG had it here and there, and he did really important things like he normally does, like his defense, his rebounding, just help in different ways, steals. But he didn't have it offensively all together like he usually does. He had like 16 points. Let me look at his box real quick. He had 15 points. He was shooting 6 of 13, 3 for 7 for 3. So he didn't shoot super well, but he got 5 rebounds and 5 assists. So OG was contributing, but he definitely wasn't the go-to guy last night, like he has been in the last few games. Like it looks like he's the go-to guy in the last couple games, especially in those first quarter bursts that he had earlier this week. But yeah, Scotty looked more like the go-to guy last night, like the guy you would give the ball or feed the ball to constantly. And Nick Nurse is saying this. He got 17 shots last night, but it wasn't enough shots. He wanted to give him over 20 shots last night, Scotty. So Scotty's unselfish. He may pass it more, but he's gonna get more shots and he's gonna get more chances to be dominant in this game. And that's the thing. He's dominating, guys. This isn't a rookie who's just trying to figure out how to play in the NBA. This is a rookie who's trying to figure out how he can dominate the NBA even better. And it's going to be so nasty. Like he's just going to get better and better and better. I don't understand. Like in the baseball, somebody sees a pitcher, they can figure out a pitcher and stuff like that. But this is different. I don't think the curve of figuring out Scotty and what he's going to do is going to catch up with the curve of him actually growing and getting better and better and better. Like they're going to figure out things about him, but he's already going to be like a month ahead in some way, like as far as what his offense is and being unstoppable. I really truly believe this and predict this for him, that they're not going to be able to catch up to the curve on him, and that he's just going to be one of these kind of players that can just dominate games in all kinds of different ways because his instincts are really good and he's making the right choices. When it's like drive or shoot, he's making the right choice. So, and honestly, we were so wrong about his shot. This is the thing. His shot looks really good. He's making like really tough, soft shots that bounce around the rim and go in. This is the thing. His long hands, he has hands like Kawhi, and he can put a spin on it with the soft touch that will get a nice roll that will fall in like more often. That's something that is really unspoken with really good shooters, is if you get that really good spin that helps it to go in. And he's doing that on those little short shots that are all within 10 feet. He's doing these little soft touches that are really set up to go right in. And you watch them, they'll go in. It's crazy. So good. All right, let's see. Scotty versus Randall will be interesting tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a real test. I don't want to talk too much about New York right now, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. And just so y'all know, I just looked at the injury report, and Scotty Barnes is listed on our injury report as day-to-day because of his hand last night. So I don't think it's anything bad. The tests were negative. The x-ray was negative. It's just that he's listed just in case. I don't think they'll hold him out against New York, but they might. This is the thing. This is what might happen, is they may bring Pascal back tomorrow and start him and have Scotty sit tomorrow night against New York in MSG. I just get that feeling just because I see a day-to-day on the injury report for Scotty right now. So I don't know. Let's see. Okay, Ken A. I feel too much pressure is already on Pascal. I hope he handles it well and we're patient with him. Maybe he's had that pressure. Think about the pressure last year, Ken A. For him to carry that team, play center, and all the pressure of like trying to win away from home and COVID and stuff like that. This year is easy for him in some ways because he's coming in with so much help. He's seeing what Scotty's doing and stuff like that. You see how jubilant Pascal Siakam is on the bench right now, and the way he's smiling. It's like he knows he's going to have a good time. I don't think he has pressure. I think maybe it's pressure to make his shots and to look good compared to maybe people on the team that are performing very well right now. But I think that he has way less pressure than he did last year. because he doesn't have to play center and he doesn't have to have the burden completely on his shoulders. Like even OG has made a leap and a bound to help take some of the pressure off of Pascal. Forget about Scotty and everything he's doing for us right now. But OG's leaps and bounds have already taken some of the pressure off of Pascal in a way too. Pascal's going to be able to come in and find his game naturally on his own and not have to force shots. Like we can let him have some early games where he only scores like, 10 points, 10 to 15 points. He doesn't have to be the main guy because we've got it going around him. But he could take that mantle of being the main guy again very quickly. Just, getting settled back and feeling good and getting in a rhythm. Okay, what is this? MK47. Is that John Wall is pretty much doing it over Turner and Sabonis? I'm not totally sure what you're trying to say, MK, but let's see. Gee, we weren't wrong. The experts were wrong. He went from a top 10 pick to a top 5 because his shot improved so much, and the experts didn't think this would continue. I still think that there is a conspiracy about Scotty Barnes from this summer, that the NBA realized because of his height and his potential that they wanted to try and funnel him, direct him to Orlando Magic. So that there was a lot of press this summer that was just telling us that we were going to pick Jalen Suggs because they wanted to hide Scotty. They remember when they were setting up the draft, they talked about the top 4 picks, and all they talked about were Mobley, Suggs, Green, and Cade Cunningham. They talked about only those 4 guys. They never talked about Scotty. So they didn't even want to give it the realm of possibility that Scotty could be the top 4 pick. But Masai and Bobby were way smart. They went against what the NBA wanted because they wanted us to take another undersized guard, a guard, and not have help up front because they don't want us to be a big team. They don't want us to have a center. They don't want us to have more big players. And Scotty Barnes was that big player in the draft that was available, and we took him. But the NBA wanted us to take Suggs, and they wanted Orlando to get Scotty Barnes. That is what they wanted. That is what the NBA wanted if they could have written out. But we fucked that all up. And now that's the thing. See, the press will do shit like that. They'll try and set it up to help the NBA. It was like, they're taking Suggs. They're taking Suggs. So when we didn't take Suggs, everybody was like, whoa, what's going on? Because we knew, honestly, Scotty Barnes should have been the first pick. We know Scotty Barnes should have been the first pick. This is the best player in this draft. I'm sorry. There's no denying it. Even 7 games in, he's the best player out of all these dudes. We know this because, first of all, he comes ready to go. These other guys, who knows how long it's going to take them to figure out how to play. And this guy's already playing all-star level right now. So they tried to hide him from Masai. And Masai, trust in Masai. He's like, nope, no, you're not putting one over on us. We've been watching Scotty Barnes for a long time. We love him, and we're bringing him to Toronto, y'all. So that's basically what happened there. Like the experts were working with the NBA media machine to try and funnel Suggs to us because they wanted Barnes on Orlando. That's what it was. Scotty does make life easier for Pascal. He takes pressure off him, and he also – it's going to be fun, guys, to see them play together because Pascal's such a team player too, and Scotty's a team player. So they're going to really have a lot of love and joy between them on the court. Like I can see Scotty doing all kinds of crazy passes to get Pascal really easy, good shots. So it's going to be fun. And Scotty's going to love learning from Pascal and being out there with him because he's seen OG and Chris and been impressed by them, like he said, first day of training camp, but he hasn't really seen Pascal out there full effect in the game to really appreciate him. And there's things that Pascal does that Scotty's going to learn from. This is the thing. We can almost think about what happened with OG and his leaps and bounds this year. Maybe his aggression is coming from competing with Scotty in practice. There's things that Scotty is teaching our older guys also that come out of their shell. Like Pascal may get a new wrinkle to his game just because he's around Scotty and he sees how Scotty works and vice versa. This is how it works. So OG, his game is better this year, possibly just because of the competition in training camp with Scotty Barnes. So they all make each other better and they all make each other learn new things. That's exciting. So it's going to be really fun. Kenne, True, y'all have a point. He has better talent around him this year. Yeah, that's really what it is, Kenny. Because last year was super frustrating for Pascal. Last year was the learning year for guys like OG, Fred, Chris Boucher, Pascal, Yuta, Ken Birch, even. Like they had to go through so much bullshit last year and adversity. It made them stronger. It made them a more tempered team because they were in the fire last year, and now it's a lot easier. So I think, yeah, I think it's all just fun and games for Pascal this year. Like he's a kid too, like Scotty. So that's infectious. Just imagine all these kids out there running, and Fred's the stern grandpa, like kind of y'all settle down. It's kind of what's happening right now with this team. OG's the silent assassin. Good morning, Darren. I'm glad you caught us today. Scotty should have gone one. Yeah, Scotty should have been number one. They were trying to hide him. It was the thing. He didn't start for FSU. He was like, he didn't have exactly the right stats. There were too much unknowns that people. This is the thing, and I was saying this earlier. He's a better NBA player than he was a college player. It's almost like the NBA suits him as an athlete better than college did. I don't know, like if Leonard Hamilton could have turned him if he had not been a freshman and he played in his sophomore year at Florida State and he was a starter, if he would be like leading the ACC in scoring, that could have been possible in his second year if he came back to FSU this year. But that's the thing. Leonard Hamilton has a rule of not starting freshmen, and that really hurt his draft value in some ways, like that alone. But it shouldn't have, because honestly, the dude's a badass. I don't understand. Like when I saw his body the first time, I was like, the dude's got Dwight Howard shoulders already, and he's not even in the league. So it's like he's only going to get stronger and bigger. Like that's the thing. Scotty's already got an NBA body. He's only going to get more muscle like OG did, and he's just going to be stronger and nastier. Like. And plus, he'll grow. Like he's only 20. He may grow another 2 inches and be a 7-footer in the next 2 years. So Jalen Suggs isn't going to be 7-footer, possibly. That's come on. All right, let's see. John Wall. Okay, MK. Yeah, let's clarify this. John Wall just decided to site out till he was traded. I was saying Scotty was scoring over Turner and Sabonis as a rookie. Yeah. I mean, those are big time low post defenders. And he took it right to them and shot right over him. Like that play I was talking about with Sabonis earlier, where he dribbled up to him and he backed him down real quick and then just shot over him real quick. Like he was doing some Kevin McHale kind of stuff too last night, like the up and unders to try and shoot around guys. Olajuwon, Kevin McHale kind of footwork kind of stuff. Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. It's going to be so much fun. What about the Knicks game? That's going to be a hard game. Yeah, I'm going to preview it tomorrow. It's in MSG. There's Scotty Barnes' day-to-day on the injury list today. So maybe Scotty's not going to get his MSG debut tomorrow, but we'll see. I bet he probably will play. And also, like I said, I think that Pascal might pop into this game tomorrow. This is the game that I think for some reason he's going to show up for is New York in MSG. Whether he comes off the bench or he starts. It could be that they bench Scotty because of his hand for the night and just let Pascal have a starting spot tonight. And then they don't have to worry about like who's going to start where or what. So, yeah, the prognosis on his thumb is good, Darren. The tests are negative on the x-ray and he feels fine. Like you listen to him in the interviews afterwards. He gets hit in the face. He gets hit in the eye. He hurts his hand. He gets a quad bruise from a Brunson pick. And every time in the press conference after the game, he's like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. He's fine. He says he's fine. He's a youngster. He probably heals really fast. Just put some Neosporin on there and, he's all right. I think he'll play. It's weird. I saw it on there and I was like, whoa, Scotty's on the injury report. That's not good. But, okay, MK, Scotty's rebounding was another thing people didn't talk about before the draft. He's averaging almost 10 boards. Yeah. This is the thing. Scotty has an innate skill for team defense, which is team rebounding. That's why I keep making this Duncan comparison to him, because it's kind of like he's a glue in the middle who cleans up a lot of rebounds, helps on defense majorly. He just makes our team defense and rebounds when he's on the court really good. And that's something Duncan did. There's like little things that Duncan used to do as a big fundamental that really just made the team better all around him. And I feel like Scotty's doing that. Like Scotty makes his teammates better, just like Michael Jordan used to. This is the thing. He makes his team better. He makes all the guys on his team more valuable and better. So let's see. All right. Delano, another underrated pick. Someone messed him up. Listen, we were talking about this yesterday after the Orlando game, and somebody is saying, "Oh, I take Barnes over Suggs." You know what? In some ways, I might take Delano Banton over Suggs. I know that sounds crazy, but Delano Banton is a special kind of talent that you don't get it. Like he's the kind of guy that they would have drafted first 10 years ago because of the way he plays. Because he's so slight. That's one of the things that probably takes people away from him. He gets a Canada discount once again, and he kind of just came from nowhere with BioSteel and then going to Nebraska. But he could have honestly been a lottery pick like next year, or even like honestly, I wouldn't have if the Raptors had picked him in the 20s, like or something like that. I would rather have Delano Banton on my team than Jalen Suggs, even over that too, because just the idea of what Banton possibly can do in the future and develop into, he gets more strength, more savvy, and stuff like that. It's sick. It's just sick. I love our rookies. They're amazing rookies. So yeah, he is an underrated pick. Exactly right, Darren. Gee, he said the spacing in the NBA makes it easier for him. Not exact words. Yeah, he did say that in the press conference after the game, either last night or the night before. Scotty said that because the game's bigger, the court is bigger in dimensions, the guys are more spread out. He has way more room to operate than he did in college. And that may be part of the reason why he's a better NBA player than a college player, for sure, the spacing. Double rookie. Yeah. Andrew, let's go, baby. Another close win last night. It was so nice to see the team have poise for such a young team against a veteran team, closing it out in a close game and only winning by 3, but getting good defensive stops, getting Fred to step up near the end of the game and hit some really important open shots. OG was there too at the end doing some important things. Yeah. It feels good, man, because this is the thing. After the way we lost to Chicago last week, I was worried that we were going to have trouble with close game management. But in the last 2 games, we've shown we can close it down and really try and execute on our offense when it really counts. So this all bodes well, because these were a couple of steps that DeMar and Kyle had to learn in the early 2010s that were tough to get through. Those lessons. But if we're already showing that we can manage a close game and win it, that's good. And Scotty hitting those 2 free throws was huge last night. That's your rookie who doesn't shoot really well at free throws, but he hit the ones when they really counted. So that was really good. Yeah, Svi was amazing. Svi has had 2 really good games now in a row, and I'm excited about him as a role player on this team. Like I think this is what I'm saying, guys. We've got all these different parts on this team that add up to a championship kind of team, guys. Like Svi Mihalik is the kind of rotation backup player that a championship team has, because he does those kind of things that champions do. And when you have everybody at the different positions kind of like that, it adds up. You say, this is a championship team. Even though nobody can see it right now, nobody wants to believe it, whether it's the NBA media, whether it's our own fans, half of us. This is a championship style team. We can do it with rebounding defense, character guys, role players. They're all bought in and all want to win. This is all what we need. And we're getting enforcers. We're going to get enforcers through the course of the year, whether it's Kem Birch or Precious Achua doing things, and we'll figure out who the clutch guys are too. I have a feeling we've got like 4 or 5 guys that can be clutch for us this year, whether it's Pascal, Fred, Scotty, OG. These guys are going to find clutch shots late in games to help us win and get that good margin to win. So, all right, let's see. Keep on going here with you guys. Pascal, mid-November. Yeah, I don't know. It could be tomorrow. This is what my guess is. I have a feeling it's tomorrow, but it may be mid-November, maybe another week or so. But he's really close. He's really close. Scotty's like a mini Kawhi getting buckets in the clutch. Yeah, he looks like Kawhi. Honestly, the way he gets his own rebound and puts it back, that's what Kawhi does. He follows his own shot and then he puts it back. He did that a couple times down low with Sabonis around to eat up the ball. He still got around him and had his put back. That is Kawhi shit. That is what Leonard does. and Scotty's doing it in his rookie year. Kawhi wasn't even this good in his rookie year, guys. That's the thing. If you go back and look at Kawhi in his rookie year, he wasn't as good as Scotty is right now. Like he was a lower scorer, and the Spurs weren't using him. I don't even think he was starting, guys. So let's just think about that. He may be better than Kawhi. So, all right, Scotty looks bigger than Giannis did coming late. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. Like, this guy looks like Dwight Howard, just a little bit shorter Dwight Howard to me with his body. And if he starts lifting those weights, getting his strength and conditioning up, he could come back and, like, he's going to be very strong. Like, OG's on the down low, one of the strongest players in the NBA. But Scotty could be up there with him soon. As soon as he gets, like, he's got baby fat on him still. He's got his young baby fat on him. He hasn't turned into his muscular man body yet. He's just like a 20-year-old kid with baby fat right now. Once he gets, oh my gosh, he's going to be scary. He's going to be scary. We need him long-term in this city. I'm telling you right now. Okay. Yeah, it's good. He could be 7 foot and he could be like 230 at some point real soon. Yeah. Oh yeah. Delano Banton is already better than Chris Boucher. I wouldn't go that far. They're different kinds of players, Andrew. Banton really is kind of a point guard, and Boucher is such a unique, amazing talent. Now, Boucher is not playing as well as he could be right now. Like last year, he was amazing. He was playing really efficient, scoring a lot, doing all kinds of things. He's had a little bit of a setback this early season, maybe partly because of the finger injury and the surgery and missing part of training camp. But Chris is doing enough important things right now. And it really, like, it's hard to compare those two guys because they're in different places in their career and what they're doing. And they're not really similar players at all. I love the 3Bs as a 6-man. I love that Nick Nurse keeps putting them in all together as a unit. Like, they come in all three as our 6-man. And they're fantastic. Birch, Banton, and Boucher. They're just fantastic together. They're a great combo. Giannis was under 200. Yeah, see, this is the thing. Scotty's bigger. Yeah, Scotty is bigger than Giannis already. Like at that, if he's under 200 there. Darren, this was another team win. That's amazing with the vet rookie mix. Yeah, see, this is the thing. It's weird because our rookie is like a vet. He's both of them. They play like vets. So it's like we're supposed to be in close games. The veteran team usually wins, the team that knows how to do it. And maybe we are the veteran team on the down low with guys like Fred and OG and Pascal around and Scotty. And, Indiana got out-vetted last night, which is a really good sign. Now, we're going to have some tough battles with Western Conference teams. And, tomorrow will be a tough battle. If tomorrow's a close game, we're going to have to really work because New York's been playing at a high level. They're shooting really, really well. I don't want to go too far in the preview because I've really been studying New York already. Started last night. But there's some interesting things about this New York team that we're really going to have to watch out and deal with. But I don't want to ruin my shot for tomorrow with the preview. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Scotty looks exactly like Giannis when he bulls his way to the post. Yeah, he looks like it's a weird, like Karl Malone used to do that kind of stuff, or Charles Barkley, just with the elbows and going around guys and getting the basket somehow, some way. I think he's not as like quick. Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think of if he's that dunk he had on Friday night where he dribbled 3 times and dunked. That's very Giannis-like for sure. Kenne, Svi better than 2019 Danny Green. Oh yeah. Danny Green. Listen, Danny Green was a mercenary. He came here for 1 year, won a championship. He was a good 3-point shooter. He got some steals, but he's not really that complete of a player. And you've seen how he does on other teams since he played for Toronto. He's very inconsistent. He doesn't score in a lot of games. And Svi offers a lot more in some ways. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Svi is a better player than Danny Green was. And Danny Green was starting for us on the championship team. So there's another perspective right there. We got a guy as a role player off the bench who's probably more talented and better than Danny Green was at that time. And I know there's Danny Green fans out there. I like Danny Green. He's cool, but he wasn't really here that long. He won a championship, and he's kind of just been jumping around since. But, he's a nice guy. I have no problem with Danny Green. Gee, they will win a chip with Scotty in the near future. Yeah, I really think he's like a Duncan type of player, guys. That like we got our first championship. This is what San Antonio did, guys, with Duncan in his career. They averaged a championship every 3 years. And for 15 years, they won 5 championships. They won one every 3 years or so. So think about that with our schedule. Like we won our first one in 2019. If we get one by 2022 or 2023, or even within a 6 year from 19 to 2025, we're on pace with the Spurs dynasty. So if we can average a championship every 3 years, that's huge. And it's actually really possible if Scotty sticks around and develops with us, like for the next 10 years, this whole decade that we've got in front of us, we could be winning a championship every 3 years or so. I really believe that. And we could end up with 5, just like San Antonio. We've got one already. We get 4 more by around 2035 or something like that. That's big, guys. We can do it. We can do it, especially if Scotty stays in Toronto. MK47, Fred's deep 3 was such a heartbreaker for the other team. Yeah, heartbreaker. Right through the Yeah, the Indiana fans, they were only half capacity last night. Yeah, they didn't like what they saw last night. They thought Toronto would be an easy win. I'm sure they didn't do any scouting on us. They didn't understand. They saw us the other night, but they're probably like, Toronto, we'll beat them at home. And honestly, Indiana probably really needed to win that game against us last night because they didn't want to lose to us twice. That says a lot. And we only get to play them one more time this year. So we've already won the series with them. So if there's any playoff implications at the end of the year with them and ties, we beat them in the first week of the year. So, all right, that's good. All right. Yeah, their heads all dropped off. Let's see. Andrew, our guys can only improve from here, and we'll add Siakam. This is a really, really good team. Yep. This talent is just stacked. We have 10 starters. We could start 10 different guys, really. Like Kem is a starter. Precious is a starter. You know, Chris Boucher could actually be a starter. On most teams, a lot of teams would want to start Chris Boucher. So it's just going to get nastier and nastier. The whole league is on notice. You know, that Washington game may be the worst thing of the whole year. Like that, hopefully that's our worst game all year. Knocking on wood is the Washington game, the opener. And everything else is just like really awesome and smooth sailing. We win close games. We never get blown out, any of that kind of stuff. Let's see. Kawhi in his draft report was the worst shooter of the 17 wings he was compared to. This is the thing, man. These guys shouldn't be looking at how they shoot. They should be looking at their hands and seeing just how giant their hands are. Because Kawhi and Scotty have these giant hands that are going to make them good shooters no matter what. It's just finding their touch. Like when you can hold a ball like it's a softball, a basketball like it's a softball, you can really manipulate the ball and control it in ways that other people can't. Like with English and spin and different things like that. And that's the difference between Kawhi and Scotty and the rest of the league. Kawhi and Scotty have that with their hands. And the rest of the league doesn't necessarily have those long fingers to get that really good spin and control with their shot. And I think that when draft scouts are looking at players, they need to look at their hands and maybe factor in, well, this guy's not a very good shooter, but his hands are giant. They're probably going to be a good shooter anyway because their hands are giant. So let's see. All right, I need to keep mark where you guys are. I'm at so I can get right back into it. Okay, Darren, Delano could be 15 points per game if he gets more reps. Yeah. Like, you know, once again, with all these guys, like Fred, he had trouble scoring for a little bit in the game once again. You know, OG had trouble at times. It really is all about the cumulative to get the W. And if these guys aren't going to hit their point averages or their rebound averages or their different averages, normally it doesn't matter if they win. To me, because like last night was a drought stat game. Like it was a desert kind of game because it was very low scoring. There was a lot of like, you know, bad shooting, a lot of, you know, kind of turnovers were here and there. So it's like the stats aren't going to accumulate when the game slowed down and just dirty and nasty and ugly like that. If it's like a 60-60 game in the third, you know, by the end of the third quarter or something like that, that's a low scoring game. So the stats just may not be there. But Delano definitely could average double digits as a starter, or like he might even get up there still during the season. We'll see. We'll see if he develops. But I'd much rather him be a passer more and more focused on that. But his shot looked good. They left him open at one point, and he made him pay for it. He like hit that open shot. That was really good. Darren, he should be more aggressive. Delano, just like Scotty, being asked to take the rim even more. Yeah. I mean, both those guys have good instincts, and they have the green light from the coach to just go and try whatever they want to try. Like they have a lot of leash. For rookies, these two guys have a lot of leash because other teams aren't going to give rookies leashes like this. Nick Nurse has a lot of trust in them. Freddie the Dagger Van Vliet, I love that. We're sweeping Indiana for what they did to Nate. Hey, maybe, Kenny, that might be true. I mean, Nate Bjorkgren was smiling real big after the first game on Wednesday, and I mean, it sure didn't hurt. You know, I like Rick Carlisle. I really like Rick Carlisle. He's a great coach. I feel bad for him. But it was really funny at the beginning of the game. I don't know if you heard the announcer say, like when they threw, I think it was Gary Trent to the ground right at the beginning of the game and there was no call, Nick and Rick Carlisle looked at each other and they're like, oh, it's going to be this kind of game with the refs. They're like, what? They're not calling this? It's like, you know, it's like, but it's been like that all season so far, this physicality. But Fred thinks that it's going to change. Like he thinks that, he said in his conference last night, Fred, after the game, he says that they're overcompensating to start the season to really enforce the rules so people know about it. But he thinks that as the season goes on, it's going to not be letting the level of physicality that's been going on like continue. He thinks that at some point it's going to even out and they're going to be more calls at some point because he thinks that this isn't sustainable. Like the players are going to get hurt or people are just not going to want to play. It's not that they want to play. It's just that it's an ugly kind of basketball and that some people don't like watching that kind of basketball. I kind of like it. I like this old 80s physical kind of basketball. But, you know, he may be right. The refs are just going hard on it right now to implement it. And as the season goes on, they'll be more lenient or they'll be more blowing the whistle more than they have so far. So, but it's very interesting. Andrew, I already bought my Scotty jersey, the statement jersey. Oh, that isn't the statement one. Which one? The one that I just saw is the new city edition, the gold one with the Toronto on it. I know some people that are getting that one. Man, Scotty's this is the thing. I was saying at the beginning of the season, Scotty's going to do to the city what Vince did. It's going to be on a different level, though. It may not be as like huge and paramount, but it's going to be that kind of level of like excitement and buzz, and people are going to be gravitating towards the Raptors because of Scotty Barnes. So let's see. Okay, Andrew, Lexi, make your bold prediction. Who averages more points this year, Scotty, Pascal, or OG? Well, I'm going to take Scotty out of that right away just because his inconsistency as a rookie. He may get like 8-point games here and there. I really think it's going to be Pascal. Like as soon as he comes back, he's going to be like a 20-plus scorer. He may average like 25 points a game or something. It could be 20 to 25 points. OG may be right underneath him, like around 19, 20 points a game. And Scotty should be around where he is right now, like 18 points a game, something like that. But yeah, that's a good question. I think it will be Pascal just because of pecking order. And also Pascal really is kind of the most steady scorer on this team. It's just we forget that from last year. He's the guy who can really get high percentage, going to go in no matter what baskets. And it just didn't look like that last year because of his shoulder. Darren, the bubble year, the Raps had a team effort to win all those games before. Yeah, see, this is the thing. They really banded together, band of brothers, and went through a lot of hardship together. So that bonds guys. Like Yuta, Kem, and Gary are newer on the team, but they're really hard bonded with this team because they were involved in that awful year last year. And it really does make these guys appreciate being back in Toronto and, you know, having a home court and having, you know, it easier, the simple things, the life pleasures that they can have here at home and not be in Tampa. This is all big difference. It's going to be a big swing in wins in that way. But they were winning last year. That's right, Darren. They were winning last year, even with all the problems. MK47, they can dunk with one hand without touching the offhand. Kawhi and Scotty, I'm guessing. Yeah. Darren, this team has much better potential to spread the scoring load for sure. There's no burden. There's no burden on one guy. If one guy doesn't have it that night, somebody else will step up and give a little extra than what they normally do. This is the thing. This is why I think that these Super 3 teams are really in trouble because, like, look, Irvin's already out and the Nets are missing some stuff and they're not winning all their games and they're having problems to a degree. Not to mention Harden really hates these new rules. Him and Trae Young are whining and crying all about these new rules because they can't do their little bread and butter moves anymore and get easy free throws. So, the Brooklyn Nets, we're going to see them before the end of the week. We get them in this next week coming up. I'm going to be so happy to see how we do against Brooklyn and Kevin Durant and James Harden and the rest of them. That's going to be a lot of fun. That is going to be a lot of fun because they got to rely on Durant and they got to rely on Harden a lot. And LaMarcus, he was their other guy the other night. But, we could shut them down. We could shut all three of them down if we have to. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking really forward to that Brooklyn game coming up in the next week. I can't wait. Let's see. I think Pascal will be number 1 and Scotty number 2. That could be true. It could be Scotty instead of OG is number 2. But I just see that rookies fluctuate so much, and OG's really gotten to a new level of consistency this year. Like that's part of his leap and bound is that he's a more consistent scorer. He's not having any of these single digit scoring games anymore. If you notice, he's at least getting double digits. So let's see. The statement jersey is the dark jersey with the faint pinstripes. Okay. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. That's nasty, dude. Man, I should get another jersey soon too myself. Maybe I'll get a Banton one or something like that. Because everybody else is getting Barnes. I never like to get the one everybody has. Like you see the ones behind me, guys. When the Raptors were in the early playoff runs, these were the ones I bought. I didn't buy Vince. I didn't buy Oakley. I bought Muggsy, JYD, and Alvin Williams. So, and Keon Clark, those were the 4 jerseys I bought during the first playoff runs with Vince and the purple headbands and Mo Pete and all them. But yeah, I always buy like other than the superstar kind of jerseys, but I should maybe get a new one. I haven't gotten a jersey since Bargnani jersey. That's a little bit too long ago. So let's see. All right. Scotty's being pushed by Nick Nurse to score more. Yeah. And I think everybody would love to see him score more. He wants Scotty to take 20 plus shots. Yeah, he was saying that last night, that 17 isn't enough. He wants to get at least 20 shots. And it's really just him being more selfish and looking for the shots. But I don't want Scotty to start forcing his game on the game. Like, I really like how natural it's coming to him and how with the flow. And I think that's why he's doing so well. That if he did start to try and force more shots for himself, then we might see some of that rookie wall getting hit. But if he's just naturally out there getting shots when he gets them in the spots, that may be better. But you know what? He's going to end up getting 20 plus shots in games like often anyway, just naturally. So hopefully that'll be what happens. Andrew, Nurse says he wants Scotty to take. Yeah, we just said that. Look, laugh out loud. Yep. Darren, Scotty will get, he'll get the 20 plus. We're seeing that. Yeah, I want to see how Scotty does on KD also, MK, and OG, and Gary Trent. Like, let's see Gary Trent get all up on James Harden this year. See how that goes. The new Gary Trent. Yeah, okay, Andrew. It boggles my mind that Scotty never took more than 13 shots in a game in college. FSU is such a weird program. They have a lot of good players, and they have a lot of tall players, and they have players that are seniors and juniors, and they have guys that have been in the program that were higher than him in the hierarchy that would get the shots. So that's really what it was. Is that he was really just there for a development year, and it was just for the eligibility thing. He had to do it. He went to a program that would really set him up for the NBA. And, that's just FSU. Leonard Hamilton is just that way. He doesn't start rookies, and he doesn't overuse them either. He lets them ease into it and start. But you know what? Actually, the scoring he got as a rookie is really good. Because normally a rookie for Leonard Hamilton, classically in his system, doesn't average but like 6 points a game. So the fact that he was getting the double digits off the bench and averaging that's a big deal because he was, I believe he was like 6 man of the year in ACC and maybe even defensive player. Was he defensive player of the year? I don't know. I should go look at that. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch, Darren. The New York game tomorrow, Brooklyn coming up. These are going to be fun games for sure. Andrew, yeah, Banton jersey, 45. Yeah, I want he's Toronto. Scotty is so fast. He just rips the ball from his teammates' hands and sprints and scores. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's built like how they say Michael Phelps has the prototypical perfect body for swimming. Like it's this way his shoulders, the length of his shoulders and his arms to his torso, the proportions. Uh, I think that Scotty Barnes has the prototypical basketball body. Like he has the perfect basketball body in some ways, whether it's his hands, whether it's his arm length, whether it's just his size and his body type is like it's really good because his shoulders are like they're the kind of shoulders that a tough, strong, down low NBA player has. And he's just going to grow into it more and more. It's going to be nasty. He's a real specimen for sure. Darren, he needs to force draw double teams. Yeah, this is the thing. We're not even getting the point where Scotty's being forced by double teams to kick it out to the open shooter. And that's going to be a whole other level of things that we're going to get to see more because they're going to figure out they got to come to him with two people. And he has such a great vision already. He's going to be making these great passes out of the double team for really open shots to guys like Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby. It's going to be nasty. But he hasn't even been forced to do that yet because the doubles aren't coming fast enough to get him. And he hasn't had to. He could just score. But that's going to be something we're going to see is the double team's going to come to him, and he's going to be getting a lot of assists at that point. So, he came off the bench, at FSU. That's just the rule that Leonard Hamilton has at Florida State. He doesn't allow freshmen to start. Darren, the whole point of making Scotty be aggressive is to own the 3-point shot for Fred and others. Yeah, because every time Scotty goes down low or he threats with a drive or any kind of stuff like that, it makes things open up for guys like Fred, Svi, Gary Trent, OG. They get open threes because of him drawing attention to the middle of the court. And then the ball just needs to get kicked out. It's going to happen. And it's just that right now that Scotty's such an unknown. They don't know to come and double him or deal with him that way yet. And they will soon. The scouting reports are changing quickly for Scotty Barnes. They have to change every day because he's showing something totally different every time. Booker came off the bench too. Yeah. That's just how it is at Florida State there. Andrew, just feed Scotty reps. He'll grow exponentially. Yeah, it's going to happen. Darren, to open up the three, I meant that is why Nick Nurse wants him. Yeah, to open up easier shots for them. That's why I keep saying that Fred doesn't need to be the initiator of our offense at the beginning of the game. It needs to be those drives by OG and Scotty and Gary Trent trying to get open with his shot because then that opens things up for Fred because Fred Cold coming into the game at the beginning is not the guy who you need to be going to right off the start because he's already got a mismatch and guys are, you want to get him open by getting switches or getting a double team somewhere else so that the ball can get to him and he can get an open shot. So it's going to be nasty as double teams start collapsing on Scotty and we see him show his passing ability more and more. Pascal was drawing doubles. Yeah, Pascal did the same thing. And we got past. It's going to be so nasty. All right, we got about 7 minutes to go before I'm getting on an hour. If you guys have any more questions or comments, let's just talk them out real quick. Just a great win last night. Honestly, I was hoping we'd get both games against Indiana. I was saying it may be a split, but man, last night they really managed the ball and the game well in the last 5 minutes of the game. They got that good enough lead in the fourth quarter to be able to have a cushion. And that cushion was just enough because it's scary. I'd like to get better cushions and I'd like to win by more than 3 or 1 point like these last two games because it just is less stressful. But the fact that they're doing really well at the end of the game and seeing it through and executing then against teams that are trying to beat him, whether Cole Anthony missed his first 3-pointer at a half-court shot, or, not letting Indiana come back and beat us by Scotty hitting a couple of free throws at the end of the game to ice the game. These are huge things because teams have to learn how to win close games again. And we already seem to know how to win close games because of our vets and championship pedigree with our guys. So this is good because this is a step that in a growing, new, developing team, it can be one of the hardest steps to learn is winning close games. And we're showing it in the last 2 games. It's really, really good. Darren, the paint is home right now for Scotty, but he was shooting when Mo Bamba took the dunks away. You can't guard Scotty. Yeah, he's being smart. He's seeing what they're giving him, and he's taking it. He's not forcing it, and he's real quick to pass if he has nothing too. So they're not going to be able to figure him out because he's going to have like 4 or 5 options every time he has the ball, and one of them's going to work. And he seems to calculate the right one, the most high probability of success out of all the decisions he can make, whether it's going to the basket, pulling up right there, or passing it off. He just seems to have the right instincts, and you can't teach that. You can't teach that. That's inherent in great players. So he's got great player instincts, like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson level game instincts. That's like smart instincts. And I think it is because he's been watching vintage NBA from the 80s. Like he's watching these old Lakers Celtics series with his dad, watching old Pistons games, old Bulls games. He's watching all the old stuff. I don't even know if he watches newer basketball because he plays like he's an old. He's from Time Traveler. He's from the 80s. Like he's an 80s player that just came to now. Like that's what Scotty Barnes is to me right now. He's a throwback, a true throwback. Let's see. Scotty loved that they were booing him at the line. Yeah, see, this is the thing. He's getting the first time at the free throw line, high pressure free throws to win the game at a visitor's stadium and at another stadium and getting that kind of feeling from the crowd. Oh yeah, it's a rite of passage. It's a thing that every NBA player gets to go through, and he loved it because it's something that's just part of the process. And I love that he iced them. Like that's really big because he's been missing a lot of free throws so far this year. Like Fred too. I don't understand what's going on with Fred and his free throws right now. They must be beating the shit out of him when he goes down low because he's so beat up he can't hit free throws right now. Because he's like an 80% free throw shooter. He's not shooting that well at all at free throws. He has a mid-range and paint points. Yeah, he's a Joker, smiling under pressure. I like that. Like he was dressed as the Joker for Halloween. Yeah, but we already got a Joker in the league. We can't really use that that nickname. That's not going to work for Scotty, unfortunately, because Jokic is the Joker for sure. Andrew, those free throws were cold-blooded. Yeah, and they weren't even like those free throws where they kind of like and then go in. They were swish like through the net, and that is good. That is good because to me, it was him showing a clutch factor, not necessarily with a big shot, but with clutch free throws. And those are different parts of the puzzle we got to learn about Scotty as we see him and learn about him as a player. The fact that he did that and did it that way, he didn't fail, that's really big. Because if he'd gone up there and he'd missed a couple free throws, like both of them, that would really hurt rookie confidence and confidence in him to help us at the end of the game. But he made them both, so we're just happy about that. Scotty the Joker Barnes. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Brian. Welcome. Glad to see you here this morning. Scotty laughing off those clutch free throws was awesome. Yeah, and it was a big deal. A rite of passage for sure. Throwback. He's a throwback. Darren, 40 minutes a game is hard the way he plays. Scotty's the real Joker. Well, we'll see. Let's have a Denver versus Toronto game before we make this decision. Darren, you feel sorry for Fred. Don't feel sorry for Fred. Fred's doing great, actually. The struggle for Fred this year is a lot different. Too many minutes. Okay. Well, we can fix that. We've got enough guys. Right now, Fred may be playing too many minutes, and he may get burned out. But, Banton can eat into those minutes. When Pascal comes back, minutes will be taken from everybody in different places. So hopefully that'll get Fred underneath 40 to somewhere. I'd like Fred to be right around 30 to 32. I don't want him to be like 35 to 40 because 30 to 32 is pretty good for him as far as average minutes per game. So yeah, Delano and Flynn. Flynn needs some of those minutes for sure, for sure. And he's hungry. You can tell once Flynn, like last night, he didn't really get a chance because there's only 3 minutes. And like I said, Svi went off and took the minutes that Nick intended to give Malachi, but Svi just started doing good stuff right before Malachi was supposed to go in, so he held off on putting Malachi in. But Malachi's chomping at the bit. He's ready. Like he's that kind of baller that he's like all built up. And then when they put him in, he's going to start balling out. Like he's going to ball out like crazy when he gets his chance for sure. We need Freddie rested for the playoffs. Yeah, especially near the end of the year. He's going to have load management. He's going to have his minutes hopefully cut down. We'll see what our position is with the playoffs and what we should be playing for if we're trying to cruise into the playoffs or if we're really, really trying to make something like to a certain level as far as like, we need to get a couple of seeds up. So it may depend on that. But yeah, I'm a big believer in resting him more throughout the whole year instead of just like resting him heavy at the end of the year. Like I'd rather him have low minutes throughout the whole year average than having him heavy minutes. And then for the last month of the year, we're like benching him like every other game. I don't like that because it kind of takes him off his game-to-game rhythm. And I'd much rather him just have a minutes cap throughout the whole season. It just makes sense. Yeah. Okay, guys. Darren, thanks for being here. Thanks for interacting with me, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Raptor Freak live stream every morning between 8 and 11 a.m. Going to just talk about the day-to-day Raptor stuff. We're reacting to the Indiana win last night by 3. Tomorrow I'll be here for the New York Knicks preview. It'll be a shorter thing because preview ones, and they're not really any news other than just previewing the game. I just do a little short live stream, so catch me in the morning on Monday. But like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. You guys are great. And I love that when I talk to you guys, you bring up stuff that I didn't think about or I didn't know about or things that I forgot to talk about. You guys are really kind of my cue cards in some ways, and I really appreciate that. Let's see what MK said here at the end. Karras didn't play much, but he looked really good. Yeah, Karras is an interesting player. He's really young still. Like you can tell he's immature to a degree in some ways, like with his personality. But he's really like he could be really good. I think he hurt them to a degree. That's part of the reason why Rick Carlisle took him out at a certain point. Other than he was like first game back, and he's probably not totally up to full speed. But I think that he was hurting them in some ways on the court last night, and that's why he held them back late in the game, not as much out there. Just maybe because of his conditioning and not being fully back up to speed. But great win over Indiana last night. I'm just glad we're a winning team at the end of October because that was a goal that I was thinking last weekend at this time, last Sunday. I was like, man, if we could just be a winning team at the end of October, this will be good. But now we got to go to New York tomorrow, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. This is going to be a huge test tomorrow. Hopefully Scotty will be playing. He's on the injury list day-to-day right now, but hopefully that's nothing. That's just something stupid they put up just for fun. MK, he was on a minutes restriction, but he did stop the flow of the offense. Yeah, he demands the ball on offense. Like he's that kind of player. But he's undersized compared to our guys too. It could be because he was weak from coming back and also undersized that we were just kind of tearing him up. Like Scotty could back him down and score on him all day. Like Caris LeVert can't guard Scotty Barnes. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching me this morning. Yeah, let's get a good win tomorrow in New York. This is going to be a tough one. This may be our toughest game so far this season tomorrow night, but I'll preview it in the morning. Thanks again. Have a great Sunday, guys, and a great Halloween. Be careful tonight, guys, because, the little kids are going to be out there hopefully being able to trick or treat finally because the pandemic's a little bit better. Just be out there looking out for the little ones out there on the street. Don't be out running around all crazy and drunk, and just be safe, because Halloween could be a dangerous time in some different ways and stuff. And we just want everybody to have a good time and be safe and be happy. Have a good night. So happy Halloween, everybody. And let's get the Knicks tomorrow. Let's go.